off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the day, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the day, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the motor city, everything ain't pretty but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.
Hello, good morning. What's up, y'all? What's going on? What is happening, bro? We live, baby, for Spike Kool-Aid for Wednesday, January 11, 2023. Listen, man, oh man, shout out to my guy Nick, man, who did touchdown Detroit Lions yesterday. Shout out to Danny Rogers. I'm going to start trying to show her YouTube channel some love. She has a YouTube channel, and I want to show her some love. So make sure y'all check out Danny Rogers and her YouTube channel. I think I'm going to play that to open and end the streams, man. It's copywritten audio, but it is too catchy, and it is Detroit, man. So it is called literally the Detroiters theme. So I might just have to sacrifice a little bit of ass sense for that joint right there, because it's worth it. Listen, I wanted to go straight into this today. The Detroit Lions season is over. It's only been, less than 72 hours, and we can't wait. I told my wife that I was ready for the season to be over, and I meant like the grind of the season. There's a lot. I stream games on my other channel, and I've got this channel. I've got Detroit Lions Syndicate. I've got the Sports Syndicate. I've got Syndicate Sports Detroit XL, and the grind is ridiculous. Nick, what's up, big dog? Says Lions finished 9th in the power rankings. I did see that. I thought they would be a little bit higher. I'm a little bit disappointed, but nothing I can't handle. And so I was ready for the grind to be over. But now that it's over, the excitement is through the roof, and I don't know what to do. Paul says I rewatched the draft this year, and Holmes was right about everything about the players we drafted. Hutch, J-Mo, Rod, Houston, Joseph. I can't wait for the next draft. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to start the first segment. We got mock drafts, and we talked about yesterday about some free agents on Detroit Lions Syndicate, and we might go over that again today. Man, I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked about what this team is building, what these channels are building. I mean, we're going to be something special. I promise you that. When I started talking on YouTube in 2018, I started talking Detroit Lions. I always wanted to rival 97.1, and the platform has grown so much. We're not regulated by the FCC, even though, we don't use profanity on this channel, but we're not regulated. We don't have anybody really policing what we do. And I wanted to be, and I've tried to call in the 97.1 a ticket, and I got through one time. And I don't know if you've ever tried to call in a 97.1. There's a screening process. They want a certain type of character for their show at the moment. and you can only get in. It's like one call. I had to be on hold for like 2 hours just to get in. And then there's no warning or anything. They screen you, and then they bring you in. The next thing you know, they call your name and you're on the air. So, and what I thought was super rude is when they're done with you, they don't even say bye or anything. They just hang up. They just hang up. You don't even know. You say what you say. So, I always wanted to kind of compete with them and give you an actual outlet you can use, and that's where this came from. And through some growing pains and some good and some bad, I got to where we are today. And I want to make sure that I continue to give you the best content possible. So I saw something today. Shout out to my guy. Hey, Nick says, I wish I had a time machine to go to September. Nick, and that's why I'm so passionate, guys. That's why I'm so passionate, because I look at the season like this. The season is like football has the longest off season and the shortest season. Basketball, you don't even have time to miss it. Baseball, baseball has a substantial off season. It's like, opening day is April, right? So but there's so many games. There's like a game every day. So you get to build up okay, you know what? I've seen 162 games. I can last for 6 months, right? The NHL, they got 82 games. It's gone before you know it. It's summertime. The kids are out of school. They're going back to school. The NHL is right around the corner. NBA, the finals are in June. The finals are in June. They're like in preseason in September or something like that, right? You don't have time to miss it. But the NFL is so long. The off season, just think about this. The NFL season, okay, is about 5 months. It's about 5 months. And if your team from the kickoff to the Super Bowl is about 6 months. If your team doesn't make the playoffs, it's about 4.5, right? So you have 7.5 months. What is that, 7.5? 7.5 months with no football, no nothing, right? If you add preseason, then you've got another month or so. But that's why I'm so passionate, guys, because our time is short when it comes to this game. That's why. What's up, D. Reese? What's up, Perry? What's going on? I think the NFL should have 2 weeks between games, longer season, and players get more rest. Holmes is easy. It's easier to get the worst. Yes. Yep. I saw that. I saw that as well. So we have to, and we are stuck with the USFL and XFL. Yeah, and that's going to be a nightmare. What's up, Matthew? What's going on, man? So I got to shout out to my guy, Mr. Poole, man, because he makes sure that I am up on everything. And it's some audio that I want to bring in, and we're going to have our first segment of the day. But just to let you know, okay, the NFL draft will probably be streamed on Detroit Lions Syndicate and this channel. It might be dual streamed, and then we'll make video content as well. So I will be potentially by myself this year. I might have the fellas from the Syndicate, maybe Trox will join me, maybe Dern will join me, but I have to work on some overlays to bring these fellas in. We might just go back to StreamYard for that. But B-Love says Lions would have beat 49ers. You know what? They had me nervous. I think we can beat anybody, but they had me nervous, man. Levi Stadium is going to be raucous. And them guys, the defense is flying everywhere. And that's what I want our defense to look like, right? So, but the good news is, like Nick brought out, first of all, let me shout out y'all, because y'all are some diehards. Not everybody can talk about the Lions every single day, but y'all can. Y'all can. If you tune into the show, you can talk about the Lions every single day. And y'all are real for that. 100%, right? So I wanted to bring in something. And again, shout out to my guy, Mr. Poole, because he makes sure that I'm up on everything. And this is a big deal. But before we do that, I got to cue up the segment. But what we're going to have is, if you are really desperate for football, the XFL is making its return. Will it last for its entire 10-game season? I don't know. That's going to take us to the NFL draft. The NFL draft is here, and right when we start to hit that lull, then the draft comes. The draft comes we'll be approaching summer. And then after that's over, the USFL, for those who just need a little bit of football in their life, that'll be here. And then before you know it, when that is over July 4th weekend. When that is over, we're going into training camp. So that's going to be fantastic. Somebody tell Danny to hook your boy up with some VIPs, man. I need some VIPs. I need to be under the tent, bro. If I'm in the shadows, I'm there. I'm at training camp, man, every day. But I need to be in the shadows, bro, because it's hot. But let's do this, our first segment of the day. So remember, keep the questions on the segment, and I will try to incorporate them into the video channel. I'm so excited. Bro, because I feel like 2023 is going to be a big year for not only my team, but for this channel as well. This channel, Syndicate Sports Detroit XL, which will soon be rebranded to SSD XL. I feel like we are going to do big things, man. Detroit Lions Syndicate is going to hit 10. I'm predicting it, man. When we kick off, I want to be at 12,000. I want this channel to be at 5,000. And I'm going to be working really, really hard, man. I told my wife today that my drive is going to be unmatched because I want to be the best. I want to be the best. So, all right, so let's do this. The Detroit Lions season ended, and it ended almost the best way possible. They were a half game short of the 2022 playoffs. And that's saying a lot, considering that this team started 1-6. 1-6, we all know what happened. I was beginning to question the ability of Dan Campbell and his ability to coach, the ability of Brad Holmes when James Houston didn't make the team initially. The fact that our defense was horrendous in 2021 and he went Jamison Williams. But then he made it up to me with all defense, right? Well, not all defense, but 6 out of the 8 players selected in the 2021 draft were defense. They all made the team. And James Houston came out of nowhere as a stud. Aiden Hutchinson, in my opinion, should be Rookie of the Year. So the man has shown that he knows what he's doing. Now, I know that some have not always had faith in Brad Holmes. I know that they haven't. He's had to earn my faith and earn my trust. And he has it. He has it. And as fans of the team, sometimes we think that these players may not understand what we're going through, may not have the same drive, the same emotion, may not want to see the history. How can they know? How can they know about the pain that Detroit Lions fans have been through for 60 plus years? How can they really understand the 1957 rebuilding since 1957? How can they know? Right? But shout out to my guy again, Mr. Poole. This is going to air tonight. This is a sneak peek that Danny Rogers put on our Twitter account. And I wanted to bring this in because this right here got your boy emotional. This got your boy emotional. All right? This is Brad Holmes on Inside the Pride tonight. Should be airing at 7:30, I believe. So look for that to come out. Danny Rogers is asking him. I'll let you guys hear it for yourself. Check it out.
A couple of other foundational pieces, like offensive lineman Penei Sewell, receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, they thanked you this past week for bringing them here to Detroit. Mm-hmm. What is your response to them?
Hey, that means a lot. Those guys, you go through a lot. They never get emotional with this, but you go through a lot in the process, the pre-draft process, and acquiring those guys. And it's certain guys that stand out in the process. So like Penei Sewell, I remember we did so much work on him, and then finally me and Dan had a Zoom meeting with him. It was like right before the draft, and I'd never forget, like, it was something about him. It was something about him and just the way that he carried himself and the way that he spoke about his background and his family, and just, it was something about him that was like, me and Dan were like, this kid's the guy.
That was your GM, Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes, and I don't know if you could hear the emotion in his voice. Denny asked him, said that Amon-Ra St. Brown and Penei Sewell, who were drafted both in 2021, how they thanked him for bringing them to the city of Detroit. I saw the Penei Sewell video where he said he couldn't imagine being anywhere else. And he thanked the GM for bringing him to Detroit, the guys in Detroit. Now, you talk about what that does. All I had to hear for the last 72 hours is how the Detroit Lions won a meaningless game. Are you kidding? We had a chance to be 9-8, a winning record, something we haven't done in 6 years. On top of that, we showed off on national television the most watched Sunday Night Football with 28 million viewers for our Detroit Lions. This is the team that the NFL decided not to put in prime time. But guess what? They gonna learn today. We showed them not only are we here, but we gonna show off. Brad Holmes with the emotion. The tears. Because I know he don't get enough love. I know he ain't get it from me. I know that. You know, us Detroit Lions fans, we got a really, really, really low tolerance. Our patience is low. This man is brought in here to shake SOL. Imagine that. Imagine that, having that responsibility, dealing with fans like us, dealing with decades, over half a century of incompetence, except a few years. This guy right here, not only does his work speak for itself, it's time to show some love to Brad Holmes. 100%. 100%. Because we had 2 of our stud draft picks, number 7 and our 4th round pick, thank a man for bringing them to our city. Imagine how big that is. Our city, the city nobody wants to come to, the city Matthew Stafford left. Yeah, okay, I get it. You've been here 12 plus years. I get it. But the city people retreat from, the city that is known to end players' careers. Right? That's a big deal. And I think that Brad Holmes deserves some love for what he's been able to do. You know, it was a lot of people was dogging this man from the moment he stepped foot, absolutely destroying YouTube video after YouTube video about how dumb he is and how much of an idiot he is and that he doesn't know what he's doing. His track record in 2 drafts as a Detroit Lion, and let's not forget, as the Detroit Lions GM, and let's not forget the fact that where everybody thought that Jared Goff was a throwaway quarterback, that he was part of the deal, that they had to take him. Let's not forget. See, I believe that Brad Holmes knew exactly what he was doing and that Jared Goff had to be part of the deal. 100%. See, some of y'all might think that Jared Goff was a throw-in quarterback, that he was find somebody, the Rams' job was to find somebody stupid enough to absorb his ridiculous contract, right? That's not what this was. This was a strategic move. The same way that I understand now and have understood for a few weeks now that the TJ Hawkinson trade was a strategic move. The only thing, like I said, I did not like is the fact that it was inside the division. But now I'm looking at it, it doesn't really matter. We have not lost any production. We have not missed TJ Hawkinson one bit. And on top of that, we got rid of a guy who did not want to be here. So what you heard from our GM was emotion. The same emotion that Dan Campbell showed last year when we kept missing out on games. That's the kind of guy that you want to have running your team. This has me excited. I can't believe, I am sad that the season is over. The Detroit Lions season is over. Forget the NFL season. I'm sad that our team season, because we can't show off anymore. But knowing the emotion, seeing this type of emotion from our GM makes me feel great about the future. That we have a tremendous draft and a tremendous free agency on the way. So that was your GM, Brad Holmes, letting his emotions run wild after being thanked by Penei Sewell and St. Brown for bringing him to a place that is known to destroy careers. That is your GM, ladies and gentlemen, Brad Holmes. Man, I'm so excited, bro. This man can B-Love says this man can pick good players in the draft. Doesn't matter which round. He's special for searching for talent. You know, I think that he's proven that now, B. Michael, what's up, big dog? Says, we have the best GM in football. And I would have to agree 100%. I have to agree 100%. 100%. And I'm super excited about what the future has because not only does he love football, but he loves this team. John Kaminsky, who said that he wants to be back, right? He said that he was sad because it was the last time that that group of men were going to be together. Because not all 53 of them guys coming back. The ones on the practice squad, the ones, not everybody's coming back. It's like graduating high school. Y'all all go your separate ways. And he said that this was a special group. And I think that they've shown that they were a special group. I think that he's shown that. So I am proud of this team. Paul says it's funny. Even though the season's over, I'm still happy how we ended. I haven't felt like this in a long time. You know, the past 2 off seasons have absolutely flown past. And I think this one's going to go even quicker. I am hoping for Pascal come healthy in OTA. Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He will be fine. So it's a couple other things that I want to talk about as well as we are heading into this offseason. But the first thing that I want to talk about is, y'all already know, if you were here on Detroit Lions Syndicate yesterday, you already know where I'm going to go, okay? Now, I think that this is a big deal, and I think that we have to, at this point, we are going to have to relax, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. First of all, subscribe to the YouTube channel because enough of y'all don't do that. Holla at your boy, man. Subscribe for quality content. But it's about time that we do this. We do this. Brad Holmes came out yesterday, and just like he usually does, Brad Holmes is a magician. He is a he likes theatricality and deception. Not so much the theatricality part, but I had to throw that in there. Huge Batman Begins fan. Huge Batman fan, but I had to throw that in there. Brad Holmes got in front of the media yesterday for his season-ending press conference. Okay? We only see him at the end of the year. When we traded T.J. Hockenson, when the 2022 season was at his all-time low, we were 1-6. We traded T.J. Hockenson. He decided to talk to the media, as well as Sheila Ham. And he said something yesterday that I think everybody can finally put an end to it. Finally to put an end to it. That Jared Goff is not a bridge quarterback. You don't need any more videos from me. You don't need any more videos from David Pike to try to convince you that Jared Goff was not a bridge quarterback. Now, as far as I know, we were the only 2 people that have been on this man's side from the very beginning. Brad Holmes knew exactly what he was doing. This is a quote from his press conference yesterday regarding Jared Goff. He was asked by Dave Burkett about a quarterback because people just want to run this man out of town. And he said, I really don't know what the decision is, Holmes said. I was always confident in him because I've been with him from the get-go since he was drafted, back when I was with L.A. I just kind of know how resilient and how mentally tough he is. I think a lot of it was me knowing all the success he had in L.A. I think that was kind of forgot about a little bit when he got here. And I think he was put in a very tough situation. Now, because of that trade, Detroit Lions have a second first-round pick via Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams. That pick right now is sitting at number 6. We don't know what he's going to do. Now, even when Jared Goff, the 1-6 start, he had 2 pick sixes, but I didn't put the whole 1-6 on his. And when we were 1-6, you know we had the number 1 defense for more than half. I'm sorry, the number 1 offense. If we had a defense, we would be in the playoffs right now. Right? Nick says, he said it's easier to get worse at QB than it is to get better. And that is facts. That's the quote that I wanted to bring out next. My favorite part was when Dave Burkett asked about it. He said, what you say? Say that again? Say it again? He was trolling him. He said, y'all trying to get rid of Jared Goff. Y'all the ones that's talking about him. I've always believed in JG. And I think it's time for us to acknowledge that Jared Goff will be on the Detroit Lions roster for the next 2 years. Now, that doesn't mean that the Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell will pass on a football playing quarterback. If they believe that he is the guy that they need on this team, they will take him. We are in a dire situation when it comes to backup quarterback. And we absolutely need a quarterback to be able to come in and win us a game or two if Jared Goff goes down. But I think, finally, now if you're trying, you heard it from Brad Holmes himself. Last year, it was the most ridiculous speculation I have ever seen. From the moment Jared Goff was mentioned in the trade, most Detroit Lions fans have been trying to run him out of town. Jared Goff said he's a better person for being traded to Detroit. A better person. That's the effect that this had on him. Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, nothing but positive things to say about their quarterback. And we know that ain't always the case. Because over there in Denver, I like Russell Wilson, but there's not a lot of people defending him, a lot of his teammates. We saw Penei Sewell, the offensive line, get up in people's face for their quarterback. I'm not trying to rag on Russell Wilson. I like the guy. His own team wouldn't help him off the turf. It's time to stop trying to get rid of Jared Goff. Dan Campbell said he's played great. He's really a perfect fit for what we do and what we ask. I think the true sign of a pro is somebody who can take the coaching. He can look at himself in the mirror. He knows where he needs to improve. He listens to what recommendations you have to get better, and he goes at it now. He doesn't shy away from it. He doesn't get sensitive. He just wants to be good. That's our quarterback. End quote. That's our quarterback. So I believe that what you feel is okay. What you and I feel, it's okay. But guess what, ladies and gents? It doesn't matter. According to Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, we now have confirmation that's our quarterback. And in my opinion, the Lions would be stupid to try to move on from Jared Goff at this moment. We're building a team. We're doing something we did not do completely with Matthew Stafford. Year after year, which became a decade. We have a great situation, and I guarantee you that at least 8 teams in the National Football League are calling the Detroit Lions right now to try to entice them to part ways with Jared Goff because we have the 6th overall pick. Maybe Stroud is there. Maybe by some miracle, Bryce Young is there. Zay says, obviously, Brad's not going to tip his hand. JG had a great year. Now, I can say that, Zay, and I understand what you're doing here, not tipping his hand. I understand that 100%. I'll retort to this. Yes, he's not trying to tip his hand. But when everybody said that Malik Willis was going to be the pick, y'all remember that? Because I know you do. I know y'all do, right? Don't act like you don't now all of a sudden. Y'all remember this. With the 2nd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Malik Willis, quarterback, Liberty. Y'all remember that, right? Y'all remember all season when people were trying to get every way possible, we were going to take a quarterback. Matt Corral, Sam Howell, everybody outside of the Allen Park facility had us taking a quarterback. Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, they all had us taking a quarterback. And Brad Holmes said no. And this was coming off a less than stellar 3-13-1 season by Jared Goff. Zay, 100%. I don't know if you came in late, bro, but that is a concern for me. 100% that we need a backup quarterback. 100%. So I think it's time to tuck it away. Jared Goff is our quarterback. According to Dan Campbell, that's our QB. And again, Brad Holmes said it's easier to get worse at quarterback than it is to get better. And Jared Goff is just now, I don't believe Jared Goff has even reached his full potential yet. I truly believe that. He's entering what, year 7, year 8? I don't think he's even reached his potential yet. Jared Goff is here, whether you like it or not. So let's build a team around him. It was something I saw in the comment section. Goff is going to retire. Oh, now, that's what I was going to say. We talked about the backup quarterback, all right? We talked about the backup quarterback, and I wanted to, if you weren't here for yesterday's show, okay, we talked about now, I was part of I don't know if y'all remember my DSA days, but I was in a group called the DSA, and essentially what we were supposed to be is Woodward Sports before Woodward Sports, but unfortunately things didn't work out. And it's okay because it worked out for the better. It worked out for the better. So sometimes I'm a huge believer in things happen the way they're supposed to happen. That's what I believe, right? So when I was back in the day, I was talking about the fact that the Detroit Lions needed a backup quarterback. Now, this is in 2019. Y'all remember who our quarterback was? We had Driscoll. We had Matt Castle for a little bit, I think, in 2018. I mean, we were just reaching in the dirt. We have not had a solid backup quarterback since Sean Hill. So that's been at least 10 years. I think Sean Hill, he didn't retire a Lion, but he retired in 2014. And that was the last time that we had a solid backup quarterback, right? Now, I think that the Detroit Lions could draft a quarterback. Dobbs looked fine. They should have kept him. Now, see, the problem, Zay, is he was on the practice squad. You can only protect so many people so many times. And obviously, they chose not to. I don't really know what the situation was as far as protecting him or not, but obviously they chose to part ways with him. You know what I'm saying? I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at that. I saw flashes, but backup quarterback, I don't know if I'm ready for Dobbs. But here's what I want to do. The Detroit Lions are in a situation. They need a backup quarterback. Nate Sudfeld is not it. Since Sean Hill has retired or wasn't a Detroit Lion, we have not had a substantial backup. A backup, in my opinion. I have not, in my opinion, believed that we have a quarterback capable of winning games. Okay? That's fantastic, MP. We are definitely going to talk about that. And I want to ask you, what do you want your Detroit Lions to do as far as the backup quarterback situation? Because Nate Sudfeld is not it. And we've all seen what happens. Tim Boyle was not it. David Blau, we liked him. But that is not it. These are the free agent quarterbacks. The reason I'm bringing this up, because I want to know what y'all want to do. The Detroit Lions do not have a 4th-round pick. Okay? They do not have a 7th-round pick at the moment. This year, they will have 2 thirds. And next year, they will have 2 seconds. Right? So we have 2 first. We got 2 first, 2 seconds, and a third? I can't remember. Something involving TJ. But that doesn't matter right now. We don't have a 4th or a 7th. And I want to ask you, I'm going to read off the top 10 quarterbacks according to Spot Track. And I want to ask, would you want any of these players as a Detroit Lions backup to Jared Goff? Patty says 2/3 next year. Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo, Teddy Bridgewater, Daniel Jones, Case Keenum, Mason Rudolph, Jacoby Brissett, and Geno Smith. Seeing as how the Detroit Lions they need defense. We need some defense. Gardner Minshew. Okay, I don't see him on this list. That doesn't mean that he is. Oh, there he is. He's at the bottom. You are correct. Gardner Minshew. If we go to the bottom of the list, Gardner Minshew. Jarrett Stidham is also an unrestricted free agent. John Wolford, Tyler Huntley, Cooper Rush. I didn't go down that far, so you are correct. So out of the guys that I named, is there anybody on the list, including Gardner Minshew, Jarrett Stidham, John Wolford, Tyler Huntley, that you could see or you would want as a Detroit Lion? Nate says this team is shown back. It must, because every game matters to the division to win next year. Okay, Spencer Rattler decided to stay in school. He is not coming out. That broke yesterday or Monday. Spencer Rattler is not coming out. He will not declare he has decided not to. So that's not going to happen. Okay, Rob says nope. Patty says Sam Darnold. I don't think Geno would ever want another backup gig after this season. Brissett doesn't sound bad. He was able to manage the Browns season a little for not as long as they asked him to, though. I agree 100%. 100% that Geno, after being a backup for most of his career, there's no way he wants to return to a backup position. As far as Baker Mayfield, so I'm hearing nobody. So you're saying in the chat, and when you watch this back on video form, are you willing to spend a mid-round pick on a quarterback, knowing that our defense is in dire need? Now, we do have free agency, and a lot of people sleep on free agency. Okay, Thomas says a 5th or 6th round pick on a QB. Okay. So Rob says yes. A mid-round pick, yes. Okay. So from what I understand, the chat is not very fond of Baker, Sam, Jimmy, Teddy, Daniel, Case. Now, I'm going to come in and say this. I wouldn't mind any of those guys for what they need to do. The only one that concerns me, really, well, Teddy Bridgewater, I don't like the gloves. Jimmy G, I think he's solid. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, it wouldn't bother me for them to be a backup quarterback. I believe they can win games. 100%. They've won games. They can win games. You know what I'm saying? They're not incapable of winning games. I mean, after that, you got Taylor Heineke, CJ Beathard. You got the guys that you put in blowout status. Even Drew Lock. Drew Lock is supposed to be, now I wouldn't want nothing to do with him. Nathan Peterman, those guys. I believe it's some guys on here the Lions could target. And I believe that you need to watch out for free agency. Because I'm not going to say that we're not going to draft a quarterback because Brad Holmes is capable of doing whatever he wants to. And we don't even know if that guy that they sign in free agency will make the team. But I wouldn't even mind having a rookie as a third-string QB. I want the next quarterback for the Detroit Lions to be able to sit and marinate. What I don't want, however, okay? Yeah, I do believe that as well. Okay, so listen, brand new, I think Baker coming to L.A. before L.A. was toxic, I think that you have a point, though, because Brad Holmes wants a specific type of guy, and Baker Mayfield may not fit that 100%. I do not want a situation that's happening in Green Bay where we get a quarterback, we draft a quarterback, and he knows that he's going to sit. Then year 3 comes, right? Jared Goff still has 2 more years on his contract. Year 3 comes, and this guy wants to play, right? The now third-year quarterback who rarely sees the field, he wants to play. That's what I don't want if that causes a problem. Yeah. So out of these guys, I honestly don't believe Baker Mayfield would be a Lion because the Detroit Lions had it. Well, he never made it through the waiver wire. So he didn't. Who knows if we would have taken him. I think he's going to be pretty expensive as well. Teddy Bridgewater, I'm over it. I don't like the gloves. I never have. And I think every year he's declining in progression. So I don't know. But I think we will see a change at backup quarterback this offseason. But let me know in the comments, any of these guys, or are you looking forward to or hoping the Lions burn a mid-round pick? Because it's not going to be a first-round pick. It's not going to be a second. I don't think it's going to be a third. In my opinion, I think they go maybe 2 offensive players and 3 defense with their first 5 picks. I think when we come out of that in the 5th round, I think that's when we'll take a quarterback. If we're going to take a quarterback, it's going to be in the 5th round. That's what I think. So it looks like that you guys, Trubisky, that's a giant to the gnaw. No, I don't want nothing to do with him. Colt McCoy, I really don't want him as either. Lion says, I say you draft him. Hendon Hooker looking more realistic. Where y'all think he's going to go, though? Y'all think he's going to make it to the 5th? I know he got hurt. We need a guard and possibly a late-round running back. See, I don't know, y'all. I really don't know. I think don't hold your breath. Because free agency is going to tell a lot. What Brad Holmes decides to do in free agency is going to tell a lot when it comes to what his plans are in the draft. And I think that is going to be kind of a big deal. So we're going to see. All right, let's see. I want to see this. All right. Okay, I think this might be a good topic. I know y'all going to be excited about this. Okay. So we got a couple more segments today, man. Again, I appreciate y'all, and I'm going to be working very, very, very hard. I'll probably honestly make this my Detroit Lions Syndicate video because, I need to put some content over there. It's so hard. So hard to do this stuff, man. All right, so let's do this. I think y'all going to enjoy this segment. With the Detroit Lions season being over, it is time to move on. The players have cleaned out their lockers. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have been in front of the media. And before you know it, it'll be the Super Bowl, and we'll have a little bit of a lull. And then the new league year begins in mid-March, and here we go. The tampering period will begin, and then we will see new players brought to our team. Now, I think the Detroit Lions are going to sign a lot of, maybe not as many guys as they had last year. I think Kaminsky is by far one of the most important. They had a lot of, we'll talk about that in a different segment. But this segment here is about the NFL draft. And I want you guys' opinion, okay? According to, this is coming from the Detroit Free Press. And I believe this is coming from USA Today. Now, we have about, where are we at? We've got about 14 weeks, 15 weeks or so before the NFL draft. And we got to hear mock after mock after mock. So if you're not tired of it, you're going to get tired of it. So let me know what you think. So we're going to talk about it, right? But I want to go over what USA Today has the Detroit Lions doing. We're going to go through these picks, and you let me know how you feel. With the first pick, they have Chicago, who now has the first pick, taking Will Anderson. Now, I think Detroit, they're going to try to trade out of that. I just wanted to make that. The Houston Texans will not miss out on Bryce Young. Arizona Cardinals, they take everybody's favorite defensive tackle, Jalen Carter. Number 4, the Colts take C.J. Stroud. So far, I think this is pretty solid. This might be one of the most probably accurate ones that I could see. The Denver Broncos have traded via Russell Wilson. Their pick goes to the Seattle Seahawks. Myles Murphy, which means that they're going to be stuck at quarterback. They got to figure something out. And with the 6th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Brian Bresee, defensive tackle, Clemson. Now, I want to know how y'all feel about that. How would you feel if the Detroit Lions take Brian Bresee? At least I think that's how you say his name. A lot of people wanted a quarterback. No Will Levis there. Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud are gone, and the Detroit Lions have shown that they're not going to take a quarterback. He is a defensive tackle. It is Bresee. So I would assume you say that Breeze, one of the other. Out of Clemson. That's who USA Today has of taking at number 6. Now, don't forget, that is with the Rams pick. I know a lot of y'all wanted Ringo. I know a lot of you guys want Joey Porter Jr. Now, Anthony Richardson will be going to the Commanders according to USA Today. Now, here's the one that I don't really know much about, and I am going to have to understand. Y'all going to have to tell me what y'all think. With the 18th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Christian Gonzalez, cornerback from Oregon. Christian Gonzalez, a cornerback. So right now we take a defensive tackle and we take a cornerback. Y'all gonna love this. Number 19 is Bijan Robinson, and USA Today has him going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know a lot of y'all wanted him as well. Am I willing to use a first-round pick on a running back? I do not. Our defense, this is the year. This is the year that we have to get defense, right? We cannot avoid anything else. I don't want to hear we got the best receiver in the draft. We traded up to get the quarterback. If that happens, y'all might see my head pop off. I got a lot of slack for Jameson Williams for reacting the way I did. And you guys see why that was. Jameson Williams for 2022 had 1 carry, 1 reception, and a handful of targets in 6 games. He did not help this team. That wasn't his goal for 2022. We know that. And our defense was ranked in the bottom of every category for most of the season. So this is the year. Between free agency and the NFL draft, we need to bolster this defense, period. There's no excuse. There's no room for trading up for potentially the best, whatever in the draft. Get this defense right. I will not accept anything else. Do I trust Brad Holmes? I do. Will I react if we take a quarterback and trade up for one? Absolutely, if it's in the first round. If we don't secure this defense, it's the defensive side of the ball we got to get right on. Okay? Do I believe Jeff Okudah is going to be here? I do. He's under contract. Jeff Okudah is going to be on this team. Amani will not. We need somebody opposite Jeff Okudah. We need somebody to come in when Jeff Okudah is not doing well. The free agency market in cornerbacks does not look that good. The number 1 corner is Marcus Peters. And I don't want him anything near this team, anywhere near this team. So again, Brian Bresee, defensive tackle, Clemson, and Christian Gonzalez, quarterback, Oregon. Now, I'm going to have a little bit of... Matt Patricia took Jeff Okudah, him and Bob Quinn. I'm not going to hold Brett Holmes and Dan Campbell accountable for their mistakes. If they believe that a cornerback is the right pick in the first round, I'm going to trust them. I'm going to trust them. So what do you guys think? If the draft falls this way, do you think that we pass on Robinson to take a cornerback? And if so, do you think that cornerback is Christian Gonzalez? Let me know what you think. However, I do believe that, again, free agency, this is what I expect Brad Holmes to do leading up to the draft. I think that he is going to sign. Expect a lot of players to come back. And we're going to talk about two in particular that I think that he brings back. Okay? So I would say maybe not as much signing as he did last year. Khalif Raymond is on he got a 2-year deal. Josh Reynolds, he got a 2-year deal. So we got a lot of 2-year deals. But Kaminsky, Jamal Williams, we got some guys that we need to bring back, right? And most of them expressed that they need to come back. They want to come back. So I think that he maybe half as much as he did. And then the rest is the draft and free agency. So let me know what y'all think about these two players, according to USA Today, as we gear up for the marathon. 15 weeks, man, before the NFL draft. All right. Appreciate y'all, man. All right. And this will be our last segment of the day. Shout out again to my source with the source, man. I love it, bro. That's why you got to have good relationships with people. You can't be a doofenshmirtz, man. You got to have good relationships with people, bro, because sometimes you never know who you come across. You never know who's watching you. You never know who is kind of got their eyes on you, man. And you just want to be you, but keep it a buck, bro. But, be professional and stuff like that. And I love it. I love it. You want to overpay for pain. I don't think we're going to have to overpay for pain. We talked about pain yesterday. I don't think we are going to overpay for pain. I don't think Brad Holmes is not going to overpay for anyone. And the beauty about it is, and this is what I love, and this will be our last segment. The Detroit Lions have a big year in free agency coming up. They finished the season at 9-8. They were 5-1 in the division. They should have been 6-0. But we're going to let bygones be bygones. We showed up and showed out on national television, Sunday night game 271. I forgot. Well, 272, they had to cancel the game. But they started it, so we're going to count it. And because of that, the Detroit Lions I'm not expecting them to have to do what they did for Trey Flowers, $90 million for a 7.5 sack guy who got 7.5 sacks in all his time. Like his best year here was 7.5 sacks, Trey Flowers, right? So not only did the over 500 record is going to appeal to free agents, but eliminating a division rival on national television. And not just any division, right? The Green Bay Packers. That's going to go big when it comes to free agency. And there are a couple guys that are a priority for, in my opinion, for the Detroit Lions to re-sign. Now, we know, in my opinion, the number one is Jamal Williams. Yeah, he'll be 28. But Jamal Williams is the heart and soul of this team. We are building something, guys. The foundation is laid. We built on it this year. Okay? We only going up. Let's strengthen the structure of the foundation. Let's go upward, right? But there's a couple other guys that I was curious to know. And one of them, early on in the season, I wasn't sure if he even deserved a chance to come back. Who am I referring to? That would be DJ Chark and Deshaun Elliott. Two guys that signed 1-year deals with the Detroit Lions. Now, Deshaun Elliott, I know he came from, I want to say Baltimore, right? I didn't really know much about him before he got here. And DJ Chark was coming off of a surgically repaired ankle. Missed a ton of games in Jacksonville last year. Coming over here. And here's the key. According to my source with a source, both of these gentlemen want to come back to the D. That's fantastic. Deshaun Elliott has been a vital piece, especially when we lost Tracy Walker early in the season, I think he became the leader of that secondary. And you could see when he went out. When he went out, you could see that our secondary missed him. I wouldn't mind at all. Safety was a position that we were distraught about heading into the offseason. And we didn't do anything, or so we thought. We signed Deshaun Elliott. We're like, what is he doing, right? We missed out on Marcus Williams. And, I mean, at one point, I would have taken Tyrann Mathieu. And I think it's funny how these guys pick these teams, and those teams were worse than ours, right? But Deshaun Elliott was solid. He was solid. And I think he was the leader in that secondary, especially when Tracy Walker went out in that third game. And then we have DJ Chark. DJ Chark got all of his money was guaranteed on a one-year deal. He got $10 million, right? The way that they did it to relieve some pressure off the salary cap was they paid his salary was $1 million something. They gave his signing bonus was the rest of the $10 million. And it was broken up over 3 years, right? 2 of those years, he won't even be on the team. Okay? According to my source with the source, both of them have expressed wanting to come back. That's fantastic. And I'm going to tell you why. For me, specifically with DJ Chark, I think that he had to do a lot in order to, in my opinion, do enough to come back, where we would even want him back. Came out, all we heard was how good the connection was. He was scorching people in training camp. Plays a couple games, doesn't really do that much. All of a sudden, we put this man on IR. We put DJ Chark on IR. He's on the shelf. We're like, what's going on? What a waste of money this was. That game against the Buffalo Bills, he had just come off IR. Him and Goff were not on the same page. The very next game, Jared Goff to DJ Chark, deep touchdown. We saw what a lack of chemistry can do when it comes to Jared Goff and Jamison Williams. That's another guy we can talk about too, but we'll save that for tomorrow. DJ Chark, I would be happy to have him back because he showed out. He had 2 games in a row where he was close to 100 yards. That chemistry with him and Jared Goff, we saw it near the end of the season. I could only imagine what him, a training camp, off-season J-Mo, would look like. Don't forget about Josh Reynolds. Don't forget about St. Brown. And don't forget of a potential free agent or rookie receiver as well. This offense would be extremely scary in my opinion. We haven't even got to the running back position. So if those 2 guys want to come back, I'll say bring them back. 100%. And my thing is they want to be here. If you look at the free agent pool that we discussed yesterday, it's not that good. At receiver, not that good. At safety, not that good. You got guys that have been on the team. They know this team. They know the players. They know the scheme. They know all of that stuff. Bring them both back. Bring them both back. So again, according to my source with the source, both Chark and Deshaun Elliott have expressed that they want to come back. John Kaminsky said it publicly as well. Jamal Williams is outspoken about it. That's 4 guys right there that we absolutely have to make sure are on this team coming September of 2023. So let me know what y'all think about Deshaun Elliott and DJ Chark both expressing that they want to return to the Detroit Lions. Man, I think that's huge, guys. I think that's huge. Paul says, what about Swift? Swift is under contract for a year. So he is entering his money year. So he's going to be playing for a contract in 2023. So I don't think there's anybody on the Detroit Lions that's going to work as hard as Swift. Because in my opinion, DeAndre Swift has a ton to prove. And it ain't to us. We don't have to be the ones to pay him. He's got a ton of stuff to prove, man. And it ain't to us. DeAndre Swift is playing for a contract. And the funny thing is, y'all, them 2020 running backs in that first and second round, they all in trouble if you ask me. They're all in trouble. Bron Pryor 40 says, any big name free agents coming here? I'm not going to say big name. I would say mid-tier. A big name would be Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs. And I don't think I know Saquon's not. And if we bring back Jamal, I don't think we have any room for Josh. Mid-tier, I would say Deron Payne. I would say a mid-tier for sure, which is more than the Lions did because DJ Chark was not a mid-tier. To me, he was a low-tier. You can tell he was a low-tier because Brad and them signed him to 1 year. Deshaun Elliott, low-tier. Mike Hughes, low-tier. I think we get a mid-tier free agent. That's what I think. Swift is going to show out next year. Watch players always do on the contract year. K-Sports is either one or the other. Now, listen, here's something, too, that we might have to pay attention for. Is it possible that the Detroit Lions try to extend DeAndre Swift? Because one thing about a contract year, if he gets hurt, look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is not even playing. No, Tua's not playing. And it's likely that Lamar will not play in the Baltimore Ravens playoff game. He might have played his last game as a Baltimore Raven. How about that? Can you believe it's been 5 years that Lamar Jackson has been in the league, that he's going on year number 6? That is crazy. That's crazy. So I don't think, again, that we are going to bring any big-name free agents to the city of Detroit. I would expect a mid-tier. And if you are just now joining us or near the end, please go back and listen to the whole show. I think it was pretty good today. And we are going to have some good shows in the offseason. Man, I'm excited. I wish, part of me wish I could fast forward. And then the other part says, wait a minute, Derek, you'll be 2 months from being 44. You know what I'm saying? Y'all think Okudah is gone. I do not. Okudah is moving into year 4. So he's got a long way. I think Okudah is going to be here. But don't forget that the Detroit Lions will have the draft in 2020. I'm sorry, I keep saying Detroit Lions, that Detroit will have the draft. But listen, I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. I got to make a video for my other channel, Detroit Lions Syndicate. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And Woolworth Sports, look out, man, because we coming. We like Deion Sanders, man. We coming. Again, this is the Detroiters theme from Distinct Life. And this is my cut, man. I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace. Go Lions.
Hello, good morning. Horns is blowing, and I'm pissing off the neighbors. Whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets. Cause when you're in the Motor City, everything ain't pretty, but it's love though. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time, when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.